All right, we are live. Welcome back to the Non-Corporate Network. My name is Chaz Motter.
Dustin, Trout.
And we are live in studio coming to you with another episode of Fill in the Blank. This is exciting, man. What are we at? Colton, do you know what episode? Episode 7, lucky number 7. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for checking us out. If you're wondering what the hell am I watching right now, this is, like I said, the Non-Corporate Network. This is a network broadcasting all things business for small business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are hustling out there. So if you're stuck in your cubicle, then I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to watch this. This is for entrepreneur community. And the show today, this is how we do things. The format is Dustin and I have selected 6 of the biggest trending stories in small business. And we will spend 3 minutes per headline discussing the implications and kind of what we think is going to happen from the story and how the business is going to respond. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. I do want to say one thing. If you're in a cubicle but have that side hustle, try and get out of the cubicle, this is for you.
Fair enough. Yeah, you have to have a side hustle if you're in the cubicle.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thank you guys for being here. We're excited to have everybody. And without further ado, let's just jump into it. We go ESPN style, so this is all about how we can make things a little bit more exciting. But yeah, first story, Disasterizen. So what's happening during this pandemic in terms of TV advertising is crazy. There's a $10 billion plus hole in terms of money that was projected to be spent on TV advertising over the course of Q1. And a lot of brands are taking pretty much one side of the fence or the other. They're either saying I'm doubling down on advertising or I am going to cut my budgets and try to pay employees and not worry about marketing right now. What's a better approach? I mean, I know it's situational, but in your opinion, what's a better approach here?
Well, double down. I mean, the costs are going down. I think you mentioned there's a 30% reduction in the cost for TV spots. I know from Facebook and Google, I mean, CPMs are the cost to reach people just continue to go down, and so it's cheaper attention. I think the difference between those that are doubling down and those that aren't might come down to not financial responsibility, but being fiscally responsible and having a cash reserve for when things happen. I mean, if you're running breaking even all the time, you're not going to have the money to pour into it. But if you're sitting on a stockpile of cash, right now is the time to do it. I think it's all about being mindful of your messaging, and it's doing more brand. Now's the time to show who you are as a company, who you serve, and the value that you bring. All without saying, buy from me, go visit us. Just simply just talk about your vision and let people know. People will remember. But what are your thoughts?
I mean, the transactional advertising is not the way right now. There's a lot of trends that have shown that in economic downturns, the businesses that do double down and continue to work on their branding and their messaging to their customers end up rebounding at a much higher rate than the businesses that turn off the advertising. So we're seeing stuff like Hotel.com is coming out and doing a lot around hand washing and showing their employees, where Airbnb has completely cut their budget. And so it'll be interesting to see how these businesses respond. Airbnb is very accessible. It's at your fingertips. And so it seems like, at least in the hospitality industry, these companies are trying to catch up. But, I think that it can't be transactional if you're advertising right now.
And even then, I mean, like we were talking about right before this, my wife and I were looking for Airbnbs just in Scottsdale just to get out of the house and have somewhat of a quote-unquote vacation. And, I mean, the rates are super cheap. Right. And, like, if they did a whole campaign around get out of the craziness while still being isolated or in seclusion, I think they can get transactions happening. There might be less of a bubble that might burst, all those people holding on to 4 or 5 Airbnb properties that aren't being rented out. I think again, but as you mentioned, they borrowed $1 billion or something like that, which probably means that they don't have a cash reserve saved up. So it'll be interesting to see how they pan out.
Yeah, no, I think that the big thing here too is that the production budgets are going to drop. People want to see something that's real. They want to see, I mean, we've seen these TV shows that have like Zoom calls that they're televising. So it's like people want to see that human element. So throw your production budget in the garbage can, maybe do something a little bit more easy to produce.
Authentic and organic.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, jumping into our next story, the forecasted revenue earnings for Facebook, as well as many other social platforms and Google, are outperforming what they were set to be forecasted at. I think this is interesting. Obviously, everyone's been affected by the pandemic, but the revenue and the earnings for Facebook, Google, Snapchat, Twitter, they have not dropped as low as what people were forecasting. So how do you think this has happened? Why do you think that those numbers aren't lower with all that's been affected in terms of ad spend and TV?
Well, I think there's twofold. Google, Facebook, and all of them, they serve ads when people are consuming content, and content consumption has gone through the roof since we've all had to be quarantined. And not only that, I mean, the stock market, I mean, it does look at today, but it also looks at the future. And when we get through this and things get back, people are going to spend marketing dollars, maybe not as much as there were, but I think it's going to be where they spend them. And there's going to be less spend in traditional magazines, traditional radio, traditional TV. Yes, it's insane that there's still more ad spend on those channels compared to connected TV, Facebook, Google, where you can track your ROI, you can track the data a lot more. And so once we get through this, I think there's going to be a shift over towards these channels, which I think the traders see, and they're betting that they're going to have more revenue as we move forward.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at, and we just talked about TV ads, obviously. I think that the frontier for ads on Instagram or on Facebook platforms, they're going to be more economical, and they're just more highly targeted. There's less waste there. You know exactly who you're getting in front of. So I think that if people are going to try to trim the fat, they're really going to trim the fat of the wasted eyeballs or the wasted money they're putting towards no one seeing something. I personally don't know how radio is still around. We don't know how many people are listening in the car. You don't know if it's turned up or turned down. It's I think that, when this world of really hyper-focused kind of targeting that we're living in from a marketing perspective, that you have to be able to have some attribution. And so these companies that have the marketing attribution, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're going to bounce back. The money's going to come back in. And so this is almost a hedged bet that people are going to start to spend more.
Yeah, a prime example on how, some traditional media was bought is last World Series had a client that, hey, we could deliver you with the same budget, 4 times the amount of reach for people who would be inclined to go to your location, but the person making the decision went with traditional TV because they got 2 sets of World Series tickets. And so there's going to be a lot more scrutiny on that, on why are you deciding to go this way instead of this way, now that we've had a huge gut punch on the economic side, and there's going to be less of that. And it's going to be like, why didn't you choose the route where you get to target 4 times the amount of people? We can actually target people that are in market for what we offer. And it's just crazy, the decisions that were being made, but I think there's going to be a lot more scrutiny.
Well, I wonder if people are sitting on savings and are getting ready to start marketing again, and they just stopped with all this stuff that's happening. I'm sure there's plenty of businesses that are in that boat.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, moving on to our third story. So LinkedIn has actually announced that they are testing stories in Brazil. So obviously stories are the ephemeral content that gets posted Snapchat style on places like Instagram, places like YouTube now. It seems like everybody's tried the stories. Yeah. What do you think about LinkedIn doing the stories?
It's people's attention are there. They're seeing that it's on Instagram. Instagram copied Snapchat and immediately took that share of...
Instagram has copied somebody? They've stolen ideas from another business? Oh my gosh. No way.
Innovate, do it better. But yeah, people's attention are there, so it seems like they're trying to follow suit. On top of that, it's people love the behind the scenes look.
Right.
And it gives content creators another channel to produce content for. Again, be mindful of the content you're producing. An executive or a C-suite level person doesn't want to see the top ramen that you just made. So maybe stay away from food pictures and all that. Maybe give an inside look at the process that your business has or that your role has in the business. But and on top of that, they're going to try and monetize it. So there are going to be advertisements. So it gives us advertisers more places to serve our ads that are contextually relevant and drive revenue.
Well, I have 2 points. So
let's hear it, Chaz.
I'm a little bit more on the opposite side of the fence here. I think that this can damage their brand more than it can help them. You're making the social platform more and more busy. There's more and more bells and whistles. And when it starts to be too overwhelming, you start to do none of it. You start to engage with none of it. It starts to become almost more of a hassle to use the platform. there's more advertising. It's like it doesn't make it as fun to use. It doesn't make it as valuable to use. You get bogged down. So I think that it can hurt their brand from that side. I think that stories are more for the youth and more for social experiences and things you're sharing on a place like Facebook or Instagram compared to your business and sales intelligence platform of LinkedIn. And when they're building all these tools like LinkedIn Sales Nav to facilitate B2B and professional sales, it almost seems like a step in the opposite direction to put up stories that are maybe not focused as much on the business side. The other thing is, for the people that don't know out there, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. And so I don't think that Microsoft, I think it was an advantage for them owning LinkedIn because they decided we're not going to do everything like the normal social media company. And that's allowed them to create products that they've monetized sevenfold above just advertising. I mean, LinkedIn Sales Navigator in and of itself is a hugely successful business. So I look at it and I go, is this going to damage their rep? And is Microsoft kind of outgunned by these other social platforms?
I mean, have they rolled it out to the U.S. or is it being first tested in Brazil?
Yeah, it's not in the U.S. yet.
So, I mean, it sounds like they have a testing plan.
They may not be doing it. Yeah,
it sounds like they have a testing plan in place. I mean, that's everything. Come out with a new idea, have a testing approach. If it works, keep growing it, and I'll be interested to see what happens from it. I'll love it if it comes to the U.S.
All right, we're on the fourth one here?
All right, so the fourth one, how can marketers balance privacy with personalization? There's a big balance there where if we want to get more personalized, which most consumers want, we need more data. For example, it's if you want to know where the closest BLT places that offers the best BLT, you need to have your location data. So you're giving data away for personalization. So it's, and more so it's people complain about all the ads. This one doesn't pertain to me. So it's like, if you're in market for a Honda Civic and we see what sites are on and that you're searching Honda Civic cars, then we're going to have ads that speak to that. I mean, to me, it's as long as it's not personally identifiable information like social security and it's John that's looking for it, it's all randomized. So at the end of the day, there's going to be ads unless you pay for it, which you've already had that discussion if you're going to pay to use the internet. But it just enhances the overall user experience in terms of, I might not have known of this brand, or I got it cheaper here, or a better product here. I mean, by knowing what you're looking for, what you're consuming, you're able to help enhance the experience.
It is the perfect oxymoron, right? I want to be showed things that are relevant to me. I don't want to be showed prom dresses. It doesn't make sense for me to be seeing that. And so does that make for a more fluid experience maybe when you're browsing or you're online, when there are things that are being presented that are relevant to you? I assume the answer is yes. My whole thing here is that, the data privacy side is the Wild West. We don't know what that data is going to turn into. We don't know who has that data or who's monetizing it. So I think that I always err on the side of caution here and go, listen, I need some kind of insurance policy, if you will, that this data isn't just going to get thrown out to every other vendor. And now the thing that worries me is I give Instagram microphone access and I'm having a conversation about pizza and all of a sudden I'm getting pizza ads. It's like, I didn't sign up for you to be listening in on my conversation, even if it's natural language processing, serving me an ad. So it's like things like that kind of irk me for sure and don't make me feel like I'm safe using my devices. So it's like, I think that we need to think a little bit about that. Because the other thing in the story was the household retargeting, being able to say, okay, because I know who you are, I know you have a wife and a kid, and now I know what devices they have. It's like, now we're really kind of towing the line of what should be acceptable. What are your thoughts about that?
As a marketer, I love it. Going back to a Honda, usually it's not one person that's going to make the decision. It's a household decision. So, as a marketer, we can get someone that landed on the website and then retarget the IP, so every device that's there, and create a household discussion around it.
I just don't think that the household's informed about that. And if they're uninformed, but you're doing this, then that can be very damaging, not only to the advertiser, but to the policies. And I think it's a matter of time before people open their eyes and realize what's happening. And we're going to start to see some policy changes.
So it sounds like for it, just need to be transparent about it.
Let's regulate it a little bit. Let's make some rules about it. Yeah. I hear you though.
Cool. On to our next story. So Amazon just won exclusive rights to stream NFL games. There's been a couple other companies like Twitter. Amazon had a 2-year deal, and now they had a 1-year deal, and now they just signed a 2-year deal to stream NFL games. And so I think this is a huge step for cord cutting. I mean, that's always been the biggest hurdle for OTT services like Sling and Hulu and all that, is not being able to stream live sports. And so we're just getting closer to ditching that cable and more towards online consumption. Yeah.
I mean,
what are your thoughts on Amazon taking it?
We're fighting for second place here. Obviously, like, Netflix is sitting at the top of the pile right now, but Hulu has notoriously always kind of been the second option in terms of streaming. And I think that the NFL partnering with Amazon, Amazon is not an e-commerce product anymore. Like that, it used to just be, it's e-commerce. It used to be books.
Yeah, it used to be a bookstore.
Yeah, so Amazon is as much an e-commerce platform as it is a book platform now with partnerships like this. I mean, I think that they're leading the charge in terms of globalization. Their servers own 30% of the internet. I'll say that again. Amazon Web Services servers own 30+% of the internet. So this is not just an e-commerce company, and they're proving it here, and they're flexing their muscles on Hulu going, yeah, we just outbid you for exclusive rights to the NFL. You can talk about your live sports and your Baker Mayfield campaign and everything else about it. Like, they own Thursday Night Football now. And so it's very interesting because we've seen this partnership in the NFL. They partnered with Yahoo for a year or two. They partnered with Twitter, and it's like finally like a company that I think can live up to the potential that an opportunity like this presents. So it'll be interesting to see. But
and I mean, the NFL's been trying to go into more countries. I mean, you got Mexico, you got Europe. So, I mean, I think this is a huge step on the globalization where, I mean, Amazon has a footprint on most 30% of the world. So, I mean, this is a way to it could be a great partnership. I mean, from a marketer perspective, now I can serve ads over anyone that's watching it on Amazon. You're a Prime member.
Well, they have to step up. I'm just thinking about this now, but like, Disney is not really in this conversation, but Disney owns ESPN, which is the biggest name in sports.
That's what I don't understand. How has that not happened sooner?
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, I look at this and I go, okay, Disney and ESPN, Hulu and their live sports, Amazon Web Services in the NFL, and I'm sure they're going to build more partnerships. So it's like, are we going to knock Netflix off of the top of the pedestal because of the lack of sports, or is Netflix a place you're just going to go for movies and television?
I mean, it's a whole other ballgame because, I mean, yeah, they don't have live streaming. They don't have stuff that comes out yesterday or 2 days ago. So it's like, it's crazy that they're up at the top, but these other two companies seem to be a little bit more innovative and bring you shows in real time.
Well, I think that we're in agreement that if you're a cable provider, you are you better be making
innovating right now in the war room, talking about how you're going to innovate and do better. Otherwise,
makes me feel like a little bit of a blockbuster kind of conversation happening in their boardrooms. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. On to our last and final topic. So Burger King has rolled out a TV commercial that they have a QR code where people can then scan it and then go to their website to get a free Whopper. It's kind of one of the first of its kind by implementing QR codes. I mean, most people say QR codes are a thing of the past. I think that they were way too early. I mean, it's a way to tie digital or offline to online or online to offline. I mean, for example, it's you don't have attribution on TV saying, hey, they saw this TV ad and they later purchased. This, you can air a TV ad, hold up your phone, go purchase, and you have a dedicated landing page, and now you have TV attribution like that. And so I think it's a genius move.
Well, that's the thing people don't understand about TV advertising is like, oh, I'm on TV. It's like you could be in front of 0 people sitting on the couch, and
everyone is like
bathroom.
This on the
You're
couch
looking
anyway.
At your phone the whole time. There could be a giant room full of people having a party that you don't know. So just because of that, you're rolling the dice anytime that you spend money on TV. And so I think that this is a way, like you said, to bring attribution back. How many people scan the QR code? how many people clicked and downloaded the app.
Yep.
Nowadays, you're seeing a lot of these companies, especially food brands, that are creating their own ecosystem. They've already got a presence on social media, and they're creating apps where there's exclusive discounts. They're coaxing people into engaging with them. I mean, the notifications that you get when you sign up for the app, it's going to tell you things that are super relevant to the place that you're nearest to, give you directions to the nearest KFC. Like, it's crazy. So I think that from that end, this is a great move. And I agree. I think the QR codes were way too early, and now you can literally open up your camera on your phone, and it has a built-in scanner. Yeah. It's going to grab that right away. So,
and I think that was the issue before, is you had all these different apps, and it's just like you had 40 different QR reader apps because each code was unique of its own. Right. And so I think there's been some headway made there. But yeah, I think they were way ahead of their time.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to dethrone. I mean, has anybody seen a McDonald's ad in a while? Like, I think the last time I saw one of those is a couple years ago. So it's like, they are trying to dethrone them. They're trying to step out. They have a new CMO. They've been launching a bunch of campaigns targeted specifically at McDonald's. And so something like this, I think, is interesting. My big thing is that they're trying to say we have better ingredients and we're cheaper than McDonald's. And that doesn't put a lot of faith into you're lying about one or the other. You wouldn't be able to continue to run your business if you had better ingredients.
Better, faster, cheaper. There's three things.
You don't have a bigger supply chain than McDonald's. Like, I'm sorry, like, you can't. So I think that from that end, it's interesting to see the kind of messaging they're putting out there. But I think that they've led the charge from doubling down on advertising tenfold during this time. And they've had all sorts of campaigns. So I love what they're doing in terms of the marketing, the CMO. Doing a great job.
Like this new CMO. Yeah, I mean, he's doing some cool stuff. I mean, what was the first ad that he came out with?
The rotting Whopper. Yeah. They show like a Whopper rotting for 30 days, and they're like, okay, a McDonald's, like... I
mean, how many pictures have you seen 10 years later?
2 years, 10 years, yeah. So I think that they're really trying to step up. But, I mean, I think it's a good step in the right direction. I've been waiting for QR codes to come out on TV.
Yeah, because they did one where... essentially geofencing, where they took all the McDonald's restaurants, and as soon as you hopped in there, you had ads pop up that said, don't buy there, get your free BK meal or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, I love that. That's genius.
No, I mean, I think, we got an arsenal for you this week, though. We got a lot of exciting stories, a lot of things happening in the world of business right now. It looks like we're going to get back in May 15th, mid-May.
I mean, my wife said that they're going back May 15th. What did we just talk about that May 15th was?
Yeah, American Airlines is making you wear masks on the plane finally on May 15th.
A little late to the dance.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but no, I think, I'm hopeful that we can kind of turn this around. I think that we've innovated from a business perspective so much over the last few months. So I personally think that this is a necessary thing that had to have happened to allow remote work to be more of a thing, to allow for productivity outside of the office. I think there's so many opportunities to grow. And so I'm very hopeful that the learning that us as a country and us as a world have done in terms of technology and innovation and how to manage things remotely is going to pay off in terms of just creating more efficient systems, cutting waste, and hopefully just growing the economy. So, thank you guys for watching, though. Again, this is the Non-Corporate Network. We want to mention Advantage before we dipped out, right?
Yep, Advantage. Heard of them a few times. One of our first sponsors. Oh, the first sponsor. So.
Yeah.
I mean, as a reminder, right now there's a bunch of unfulfilled time. And so taking your extra time and trading it with other products, services, people out there. I mean, it's just a platform that does really good.
Advantage.com. If you're looking to get an accountant or ride a horse or anything in between.
Get your nails done, massage.
Get your nails done. Yeah.
Marketing.
My girlfriend tried to get me to do the nail thing.
I actually did it the other day.
Really?
I had to do it on video.
I feel like I'm going to kick somebody in the face on accident and try to touch my feet. But thank you guys again. This is Fill in the Blank. Again, my name's Chaz Motter.
Dustin Trout.
And we are stoked to bring you some more stories this week. Thanks for sticking with us. If you have questions that you want to submit, we got a Facebook. We're working on the social media stuff now. You can comment live and we'll respond. And if you have an idea or you have a cool story you came across and you're like, hey, I want to hear these guys argue about it, send it our way. We'd love to debate. We'd love to talk about it. But thank you guys for being here. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Cool. See you Wednesday.